Welcome, everybody. We have a great day today, a very exciting day. I see lots of family members. So we'll call our meeting to order, and if you'll join us, Jennifer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. I am going to call Chief Parks up because we are going to start with our swearing-in ceremony for our promotions. And I will join you down there.
Morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. As the Mayor said, an exciting day for Dunedin Fire Rescue. We have 2 promotions for Lieutenant. We have a 3rd one we'll have for you eventually as well here in the near future. So I'd like to start by calling Chadwick Dennison and his family up here. I'll tell you a little bit about Chad. He was hired May 28th of 2008. His official promotion date is April the 12th of 2023. He also, you may recognize him as our Firefighter of the Year for 22-23. And he also serves as a preceptor, so all of our paramedic students that come in, EMT students, he's one of the preceptors that guides them through the county certification. He's a member of our Honor Guard, and he's a fireboat operator and also a mentor. We have 3 mentors in the department that lead our guidance on the fireboat, and he's one of those. And he also started acting as a lieutenant in December 20th of 2018. So with that, Mayor?
Yes.
Nope, okay. Wrong one. Hold on. I knew I'd mess that up.
If you guys want to join us. Anybody who wants to take pictures, please get up. Feel free. All right. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand. Okay, just repeat after me. I, Chad Dennison,
I, Chad Dennison,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the policies and procedures
that I will support the policies and procedures
of Dunedin Fire and Rescue
of the Dunedin Fire Rescue
while serving in the position
while serving in the position
of lieutenant.
of lieutenant.
I will faithfully
I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
bear allegiance
bear allegiance
to my superiors.
to my superiors.
I will, to the best of my ability,
I will, to the best of my ability,
protect the safety and lives
protect the safety and lives
of the citizens and firefighters
of the citizens and firefighters
whose care have been entrusted to me.
whose care have been entrusted to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, some more. No. Okay, ready?
No, that is adorable.
There we go.
Good job.
Oh, man. No, so we'll just keep it short and sweet. I appreciate it to our administration and all the firefighters in this room. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to serving in this role. I have lots of ambitions as far as this department goes. So this is just the next step and a bigger platform. So that's it. But really the thanks goes to these guys because they make our job easy. And I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for being here.
Okay, if we can call Phil Gandolfo and his family up. And Phil was hired in January 10th, of 2018. His official promotion date is March 22nd of 2023. He too is a preceptor for our EMS personnel. He's a fireboat deckhand, which is one step below the operator. And he's been an acting lieutenant since December the 7th of 2022. He also has a Bachelor of Science degree from UCF, or UC, yeah, I said that right, UCF. I'm used to saying USF, UCF. So, Mayor?
I, Philip Gandolfo,
I, Philip Gandolfo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the policies and procedures
the policies and procedures
of Dunedin Fire and Rescue
of Dunedin Fire Rescue
while serving in the position
while serving in the position
of lieutenant.
of lieutenant.
I will faithfully and honorably
I will faithfully and honorably
bear allegiance
bear allegiance
to my superiors.
to my superiors.
I will,
I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
protect the safety
protect the safety
and lives of the citizens
and lives of the citizens
and firefighters
and firefighters
whose care has been entrusted to me.
whose care that has been entrusted to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Commission, Chief Parks, and the rest of our admin for this opportunity. I want to big thanks to Local 2327 for all your support and hard work over the years. Thanks to my wife Lauren, my son Michael, my parents, my brother, my in-laws for the patience and the support and unconditional love over the years. And a big thank you to this guy here, Lieutenant Jeff Turchani, for the constant mentorship and coaching. I wouldn't be here today without his guidance. So, yeah.
Well, join me in giving them one more round of applause. Thank you so much for your service, and you don't have to hang around. Oh, I know, EMS, I'm sorry.
You do have to hang around.
Yeah, you do, I'm sorry, I was trying to give you guys an out. All right, now we have the proclamation. You have one more? Yeah.
Well, proclamation.
Yeah, the proclamation of Emergency Medical Services EMS Week 2023, and I'll turn that over to Vice Mayor Twanga.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, what do you think? Should
stealing
we
your
just
napkin.
have everybody, just the whole room, looks like, could come forward? Why don't we do that? I think, don't, Mayor,
Come on down.
you guys are our heroes.
Everybody,
Come on down.
don't be shy. I know you're not shy.
This is National EMS Week
Here we go.
2023.
Who's protecting the city?
This is the safest place to be right now.
We just wanted to get them closer to us.
Yeah, we learned that at the John Maroney lunch.
I just thought Lieutenant Dennison was going to have his little boy pin him.
I know.
Yeah, that was
I'd
gonna
like
be
to see how
something
that
to see,
went.
right?
Look at this. Wow.
Notice how they're not blocking the aisle. I mean, they're that
Down
foresight. In case we want to run.
I don't know when to begin.
Yeah.
How about the beginning? Whereas emergency medical services, EMS, is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas EMS Week brings together local communities and medical personnel to honor the dedication of those who provide the day-to-day life-saving services of medicine's front line. Now therefore I, John Torninger, by virtue of the authority invested in the mayor of the city of Dunedin, Florida, and on behalf of the entire city commission and the entire city of Dunedin, do hereby designate May 21, 27, 2023 as Emergency Medical Services Week with a theme, Where Emergency Care Begins, and encourage the community to recognize these valuable life-saving professionals. Congratulations.
We thank you for this recognition, and as everyone behind me, they're the ones running the calls every day, but as you've seen, our new rescue is out there, and it's going crazy. And you go back to our COVID days, when all that started, we're just now getting out of that. We're relaxing our protocols that we had set up and established by the county for the COVID period. But we're still busy. We haven't given up. We haven't stopped our running of our calls. So we're as busy now as we are ever. And it's important that these gentlemen behind us know that we're behind them, because of the critical shortage right now. We're still down firefighters and paramedics. We're still drastically trying to compete with our other neighbors to keep employees here. So with this, they're working overtime. We're keeping the truck staffed as best we can. But this is very important to recognize that 85% of the job that they do is EMS. So we thank them for what they did. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and we really appreciate everything that you do for our community and for our city and for your organization, and what you do for each other to keep each other in line and you know, in a good working condition and all of those things. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, now you can go. Let's give him a minute. Okay.
We lost our audience.
All right, now we'll move on to our Paint Dunedin Purple for Alzheimer's proclamation, and that will be Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. Speaking as one of the many in this country that have been touched by this horrible disease, I'm very proud to be able to read this proclamation. Paint Dunedin Purple Day for Alzheimer's. Whereas many as 6.5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number grows every 66 seconds. Whereas Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States and the only leading cause of death that cannot be cured or prevented. And whereas there is a need to raise awareness about Alzheimer's disease and to honor all of the caregivers who support and care for loved ones with Alzheimer's disease, and whereas researchers are making great progress in developing ways to accurately diagnose and treat Alzheimer's disease, and we need to accelerate the pace of that research. And whereas the Alzheimer's Association is asking residents of Dunedin to visit www.alz.org to learn more about Alzheimer's disease and to join the fight against the devastating disease by decorating their storefronts and spaces with purple, as well as to wear purple to raise awareness and to raise money to support the continuing care, support, and research of Alzheimer's Association. Now, therefore, I, Robert J. Walker, by virtue of authority vested in me by the Mayor of the City of Dunedin, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim June 3rd, 2023 as Paint Dunedin Purple Day for Alzheimer's, and encourage all citizens to support those whose lives have been affected by the disease, to be a source of encouragement and support to the family members who are caring for those with Alzheimer's, and to strengthen and increase our efforts to win this battle against Alzheimer's disease. Thank you.
Rob, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Please.
Thank you very much. Again, it's hard to believe that this was just an idea 5 years ago. Last year, by the way, I have Pam and Lauren, who I haven't even met yet, from the Alzheimer's Association with me today. I'm Steve Olson, who some of you know. But 5 years ago, we started this, and last year, it was kind of crazy. I didn't hear this until way after the fact, but it turned out that Paint Dunedin Purple last year was the longest day event for the Gulf Coast chapter of the association, which is 16 counties. This is a very unique event for a longest day event. Most of them are a bunch of people get together and go bowling and make money or do something fun like that. But this has been amazing, and I just want to thank you and the local businesses that make this happen. You know, we go around and talk to them, and they're the ones who raise all the money. So we just cannot thank the local businesses enough. And to your point, Rob, about some of the things that are going on with the association puts so much effort into research, and there is more positive news on the research front than there has ever been. We still don't have a cure. We got some new drugs and things that you hear a lot of talk about, but the hope that we have makes this kind of thing so worthwhile. If we had the kind of money some of the other major illnesses had, we could accelerate this. I'm not a fundraiser. I never dreamed of being a fundraiser, but we have to have the dollars to do the research. And in the meantime, while people deal with this, the association is there for people who need hope. If anyone out there has someone who is impacted by this disease, I encourage you to reach out to the Alzheimer's Association. That is where you learn about this disease, how to help someone with this disease, how to live with this disease. It's an amazing organization that I'm super proud to be a part of, and I cannot thank you all enough for supporting this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now we'll go to citizen input. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to any item that is not already on the agenda, please feel free to do so. Okay. What in the heck are you doing over there?
Plugging in my laptop.
This has been bothering you, hasn't it?
Okay, yeah, there you go. She's under the table again.
It's a little early to hide, do you think? I mean,
Oh, it's
got a couple
noon
items.
somewhere.
All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of April 18th and 20th. There are board and committee appointments for the library and the Veterans Advisory Committee. And then there is the second renewal of the caretaker contract at the Gladys E. Douglas Preserve, as well as the award of consultant contracts for miscellaneous engineering, landscape, architecture, and planning consulting services. Are there any items to be pulled? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor and Commissioner Gao. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak to this item? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And then we have our action item, which is the fourth addendum to the golf course license agreement. Jennifer, did you have any opening?
I have no opening. No. Vince will take care of it.
Okay.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. Vince Gizzi, Parks and Recreation Director. First, a little background, then some highlights of the fourth addendum. The Dunedin Country Club, Inc. entered into a license agreement with the city effective May 18th, 2017 for the management, operation, and maintenance of the Dunedin Golf Club. An addendum was executed on March 3rd, 2020, providing for additional two-year term of the agreement through June 25th, 2022. Prior to entering into any additional terms, the City Commission directed staff to conduct a sustainability study of the Dunedin Golf Club. The National Golf Foundation was hired to complete this study, and as you recall, Richard Singer was here for several meetings with the National Golf Foundation. The results of the sustainability study were presented to the City Commission on August 31st, 2021. The study outlined 4 options for operating structure. The Commission chose the hybrid option, which was city control with employee general manager and various contracts. And as discussed at that time, if the city was paying for the large capital projects, such as a full restoration, the city wanted full control of the operations and oversight of the construction. The current license agreement was scheduled to expire on June 25th, 2022, in order to provide sufficient time for city work through all of the functions of transition plan. The city requested an extension for an additional year through June 26, 2023. This would give us time to hire a general manager and other key staff, bid out for a maintenance contract, which we've done both of those, hire the general manager and also bid out for the maintenance contract, RFQ for food and beverage services, review of all contracts, and establish operations and capital budgets. City staff and the Dunedin Golf Club are now proposing to extend the term of the agreement for an additional term commencing on June 27th, 2023 and expiring February 29th, 2024, and this would be for 8 months. The extension will coincide with the start of the course restoration project scheduled to begin March 1st, 2024. We have hired Stantec and Spence to do our design. Once complete, we will bid and award construction, and shovels will be in the ground by March 1st, 2024, at the expiration of the fourth addendum. So just some of the highlights of the fourth addendum. The club will provide city financial reports by the 10th of each month for the previous month, which they are doing now, receive those before all of the board meetings. Maintenance beyond what is covered by the maintenance agreement with Down to Earth, contractor for the maintenance, will be financial responsibilities of the Dunedin Golf Club. So if there's anything in addition to what Down to Earth is doing, the Dunedin Golf Club will pay those expenses. Any rental, reservations, tournaments, or other events held after June 27, 2023 shall be approved by the city's general manager. A license payment of $628,600 shall be due and payable from the Dunedin Golf Club to the city on June 27, 2023 to cover operating expenses, including our general manager's salary and the Down to Earth contract, and that would be for a total of 8 months. City will continue to be responsible for utilities, which we are now, water, sewer, stormwater, reclaimed water, and garbage collection. Club will continue to be responsible for electric and gas. The city may terminate this agreement without cause and without penalty or expense to the city upon 10 days written notice to the Dunedin Golf Club. All of the provisions of the agreement not specifically awarded by this fourth addendum shall remain in full force. City Attorney Jennifer Cowan has prepared this addendum, thank you, Jennifer, and approved as to form. It has been executed by the Dunedin Golf Club President, Gary Huffaker. City staff recommends City Commission approval of fourth addendum to the golf course license agreement. And if there's any questions, I can please.
Okay, any questions from anybody? Okay, I was going to say, Vice Mayor, you're the liaison. Anything you want to add?
No, thank you very much, Mayor. Just for the public's sake, Vince, would you just give an idea of when the completion of this, I know that's not part of this conversation, but just for the public's sake, would you tell when the course will be ready to go? It's expected to be ready.
It should be ready in October, November of 2024. Construction should be about 8 months.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. The meetings that I have been to have been really well conducted, and Gary Huffaker, who is the president, has done just a great job in the successes and the numbers, I think. So I'm really pleased with the golf course and what's happening at the golf course. Got a new general manager who is keeping an eye out on things, and so I think things are really going well over there at this point in time. I know that I reported just recently about the food and beverage, the success that they're having, and as well as about the play and the increase of play and the financial successes of the golf course just from the play side. So both sides, both the course side, if I may then, and the food and beverage side are continuing to be successful for us. I'm very, very happy to report that. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
One question related
Yeah.
to that. I know it's outside of the scope of this addendum, but my understanding is that there was consideration being given to leave the restaurant and the rest of the clubhouse facilities open over the course of this. I guess the decision's been made to not do that over the course of the renovation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And what was the rationale behind that?
Well, first of all, there's no golf being played.
Sure.
During that time frame.
Yep.
The construction staging is going to be throughout the entire course. There'll be dirt piles and pipe and construction materials staged throughout the course, which really wouldn't make it a too attractive location for food and beverage. The finding of food and beverage at this point, since the club's not going to continue to do it and do not want to do it after March the 1st, it would be very difficult for us to find under those conditions a food and beverage provider.
Okay, so that was a board of directors decision then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No further questions.
I'm just going to tag on to that. Obviously, I think, really important after this is there's a lot of confusion. I've spent some time in the last 24 hours talking to some people at the golf course, including board members, and there seems to be this lingering thing too that possibly even if the restaurant got bid, that somebody would actually start operations during construction period, or that we'd bid it by then. If somebody wanted to try, they could. So I think there is a lot of confusion. I'm glad that the Commissioner brought it up because I think that's probably game one, is to make sure to get in there and make sure that the members themselves understand the dynamics of that decision. So.
Yeah, this is still 8 months away, 9 months away actually. Food and beverage will continue to operate from now through February 29th. So Jennifer and I do have monthly meetings with the board of directors, and we will have this on our agenda to speak of. That the license agreement did, if it passes today, the fourth addendum passes today, then they could announce it in their next newsletter, which goes out monthly, and try to clear up any confusion that may be out there.
Yeah, there's definitely confusion. So.
Anybody else? Questions?
No.
I have a comment, so wait till comment.
Yes. Okay, anybody from the public wish to come forward and speak to this item? All right, bringing it back, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Twanga and Commissioner Gao. All right, Commissioner Twanga?
I really wasn't prepared to discuss this at this moment, but I think I should. I have spoken with the city manager about that very subject of keeping the club open during that time period, at least for further consideration for that. And so I'm really not prepared or don't think I should take the time to discuss that at this point in time. And I certainly don't want to disagree with or have any disagreement at this point in time about that subject matter. But I think it could be very important to the city, and I've given the city manager my reasons and justification for that. And so since it is a long time off, and it was a board decision, and I do attend those meetings, et cetera. I think I'm asking for further consideration for that subject matter. So I did want to make that comment. I have made my comment already previously, thanks to the mayor, about the success of the current board for the golf club and for my wishes and hopes for continued success of the golf club. The golf club is more than just a golf club. The club is much more than that, and it's much more, for example, and this isn't the justification, but for example, for organizations that meet there, not just one that I'm involved with, which is Dunedin Rotary North, but also Dunedin Rotary meets there as well for lunch, and there's many other organizations. So it is considered to be an important asset to the city, not only as a golf club where you go to golf, but it's also an important asset to people where they go to enjoy themselves. So I'm hoping for further consideration, but at this point in time, that's not the subject matter, so thank you, Mayor, for letting me make that comment. But I have had that conversation, not ready to discuss it at this point, but thank you.
Commissioner Gow?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, actually, my concerns or comments actually kind of echo the Vice Mayor's, that it is more than a country club. It's more than a restaurant and what it means to the community. We have 8 months to hopefully maybe figure something out, but it was a decision made by the board. I'm kind of disappointed in that decision. I love that board. I thought they've been doing a wonderful job so far. I'm not sure of the criteria around their decision-making, not aware of it. But I'm afraid for those organizations that meet there, if it closes, the chances of them coming back are slim to none. And so what will happen to those organizations that meet there? But hopefully there will be consideration within the next 8 months. Maybe the board will reconsider or the city can do something. I don't know, but putting it out to bid during construction, that's has its own limitations on why we not want to do that. So I don't know, just wanted to at least voice those comments. That's it.
Oh, me? Yeah, so Blair, Vince, God bless you too. You got 8 months of a haul. Obviously, the timeline, keeping this thing disciplined and moving is going to be so important in so many ways. Not to kind of run chills through you again. I think the restaurant issue, you know, you've got 8 months, you'll figure it out. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of reasons I'd love the restaurant to stay open. I think a lot of people would like it to stay open, but I want my eye on North Star. And the North Star is a great golf course with a great, you know, restaurant after everything's done. And I have a lot of faith that you guys will figure out the best way that we're going to get there, communicate it well with the members as well as the public. And just the only other thing I'd add is that, you know, this is a huge project. It's a golf course, but it's also the hub of our largest neighborhood. So it has a lot to do with Dunedin as a whole in terms of, you know, the importance of making this golf course successful, because the alternatives to that are really bad. So this is important, and you guys are going to have a lot on your shoulders, and I, for one, want to do everything to support those efforts, because I know it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be something we're really proud of when it's done.
Yeah, I cannot articulate that better than Commissioner Franey did. It's obviously the organizations that are impacted by this. I'm confident, though, that we will figure this out, and but I greatly appreciate your efforts. I know you've got a big job ahead, so thank you.
Didn't mean to leave Jennifer out of that, too. You've been doing, or Jennifer, too.
Don't make me go there.
Yeah. I didn't say.
I know you didn't, but you made me want to say it. You know, I agree with Commissioner Franey. I think the approach you're taking is the right approach. And let me share with my colleagues who are sharing their concerns a little bit why, since we did veer a little bit off. I think, you know, between now and February, end of February, beginning of March, we can do an RFP for the restaurateur. That restaurateur can help advise as to what improvements are really needed in the clubhouse, what's going to make it an outstanding place. I can see wanting, we don't want, I'm sure everybody will agree, we're not looking for a diner there. We're looking for a brand, something that really draws attention, that it can stand on its own and be a fantastic support system to the course itself. And so in order to attract somebody like that, they need to have a say as to what some of those improvements should be to make whatever that restaurant is successful, and giving them the chance to be a part of that, and then having that time frame of being shut down to do it, I think is the smartest business step we can take. Now, I think your concern over the organizations, Commissioner Gao, is really important. That we work with them, that we try to accommodate them somewhere else. Maybe they can use one of our, rooms in any one of our community centers, or, maybe there are concessions we can make there to accommodate that. So I do think it was a good point to bring up and take a look at, and so that we can encourage them. They can see how great we are in accommodating them and encourage them to come back. I think that was a really good point there. But I do think that this is the right step to take from a business perspective, from a clean perspective. And when the grand reopening for that golf course is, you have a new, a revitalized, refreshed, we'll call it, whatever it's going to be, because I have no idea, with a new restaurateur, a new golf course, and you're putting your best foot forward on that grand opening, which, we've been talking about that, about a lot of different projects, how we don't necessarily like the whole phasing because you want to have the big bang. Well, this is the big bang. And yes, I know the golf course piece is the most important piece, but this is how you secure, any business will tell you, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And the whole point of that restaurant being open to the public is so that we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. Yeah, that's the focal point, but we want that restaurant and, to be open to the public and actually attract the public, not be an afterthought. And, there's many ways to go about doing that, and I'm not signifying what that is. I'm just saying that I actually agree with the moving forward. Well, this way, and will there be difficulties? Yes, and I agree with Commissioner Franny. I trust that these guys will work through it. I thought it was a good point that you brought up, Jeff, and hopefully everybody can consider that, get the list of people and start communicating with them now. And we do have a number, of months, and you'll keep us abreast of how you're going to lay this out with the timing and when you're going to go out to RFP and what you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do a roll call vote.
Now you can hide. Okay. Yeah.
Mayor, if I can make a comment after your vote.
No, you can make it now.
Oh, thank you. Well, I wanted to thank Vince and Laney and Blair. It's a heavy lift. The entire project, as Commissioner Franny had mentioned, it's a heavy
Sorry, I
lift.
didn't mention Laney. Sorry.
That's all right. Vince especially has been moving this forward and moving this forward and moving this forward. And, the number of moving parts here, they're numerous. And the need to communicate with the board and moving forward with the membership is crucial to this project. And this is not something that was in Vince's objectives for the year. Last year, this year, it's over and above what he's doing, and he keeps on moving it forward. And I'm proud of him for the work that he's doing, and Laney and the analysis that we're doing. Finance is very active. Human resources, Dr. Smalling is very active because we are going to have additional FTEs eventually.
It's a huge transition.
It is. It really is. And the time frame that we have in which to do it is very small. And so we've got to do it right. We've got to do it right the first time. And so, I just commend staff and hiring Blair Klein. He's done a super job. He is there all the time. And he's working really well with John Falcone. He was the expertise that we needed and eyes on the course to guide us through this process, because some of us are golfers, but we're certainly not golf professionals. And so I have the same feeling about this, though, really, that I did about the Gladys Douglas. You have a little glimmer of something great, and then it pops. And I think that we can get there with this. A lot of patience, a lot of bumps in the road, I think. The board has been fantastic. They really have been. There were some negotiations that were difficult for us and for them. And everybody speaks their minds on our communication calls, including staff. And we're doing things. We've gotten farther than we ever have with this golf course. And I'm proud of the progress that we've made, and I'm really looking forward to what we're going to accomplish here. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, I think we're all proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And the board. I mean, I can understand why they wouldn't want to just operate food and beverage. I remember when they talked about it initially, I was like, really? Why would you want to do that? But whatever, they wanted to do it. We were trying to give it to them, and I think, I think this is so much cleaner, and their willingness to continue on, and their willingness to see the vision and see the need to have that closure for a period of time. Because it's complicated to keep something partially open.
Yes.
When you're running a construction site. I mean, that's extremely complicated.
And there was a lot of fear, like, could you really
do it successfully?
Versus suck money out of the system for the North Star.
Right.
For the big, they have a lot of confidence in you too, Blair, which was great to hear.
Yeah. Okay. All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Franny?
Aye.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Tornga?
Aye.
And Mayor Bajowski?
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, everybody. I think I have to count how many times that I have voted on a license agreement with the club. I gotta say, it's probably 7 or 8.
These walls could tell, right?
I mean, in my day,
Yeah,
it's
I
probably
can
7
hear
or
John
8,
Lawrence.
maybe 10.
I hear John Lawrence and John Hubbard's voices.
Yeah.
The club's
Yeah,
been
don't.
a thing for a long time.
Yeah. No, but it's good to where we're getting to. I bet you they're they're impressed.
But I do think you're right on. Keeping the club informed, communicating, and on board as we move is so important, so.
Okay. Then we have the proposed agenda for June 6th, which will be in our new building. Yes?
Yeah.
It'll be it's not going to be our first meeting. It's our first,
Our first meeting will be June 1st, the budget meeting.
right. But this will be our first work session. And everybody okay with the agenda? Okay.
Is the branding really $0? Is that?
No.
I know, right?
That would be nice, but no.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Tornga and Commissioner Franny, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We're going to go into this workshop. Do we want to take a quick break before we head into that, or is everybody okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick break. I
Take
can
a
fix
quick-
my chair fine.
Yep, okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll bring the meeting back to order, and we're moving on to our workshop item, which is the Public Sector Budget Software Solution. And I will turn that over to Les and Ashley and Sarah Sears with ClearGov.
Great, thank you. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Les Tyler, the Finance Director. I'm here with Ashley Kempton, our Budget Manager. And we're excited today to be presenting our new budget software that is called ClearGov. I'd like to give some brief background on ClearGov, and then also then I'll turn it over to Sarah Sears, who is with ClearGov. She's a technician with ClearGov with us today on Zoom, and she will present some slides that will provide some of the high-level information regarding ClearGov and what it offers for our city. For some background, about a year ago, we received approval in the 23 budget process as a business initiative to look for a budget software solution for our city. We explained how cumbersome our current method of preparing the budget was, using many Excel files that we knew were good, and we knew there was good public sector software out there that would be a better solution for us. Over the past year or so, Ashley and I looked at many different software programs. We had detailed demos from 4 different companies. And after lots of research, Ashley and I and the selection team agreed that ClearGov was the best budget solution for our city. ClearGov is a web-based program, and that was one of the key items on our checklist. We wanted to make sure we had a web-based program. And as mentioned in the staffing report, there are 5 key modules that are included in the software program, which is our capital budgeting, our personnel budgeting, our operating budget, and then there's a digital budget book and a transparency module. And Sarah will go over these in a little bit of detail in a minute, but I wanted to mention one of those in a little bit more detail, and that is the transparency module. I'm very excited about that one, and I think the Commission will be too once we're fully rolled out. This will tell our financial story in a simple way with information graphics and easy to understand for our community and stakeholders. It has a custom chart builder that will allow us to show information, tables, as well as graphs, or both. Some people are more visual than others on how they look at financial information. It has peer comparison information, and you can create custom department dashboards with other features as well. I think this will provide better information and access for our residents and also stakeholders when looking at our financial information and our budgets. And it also includes ADA optimized content, which I think is a great product as well. I also want to mention that our fiscal year budget document for 23 that we have now, and also the past few years, looks our new budget in 24 once we're fully developed in ClearGov will look different. We will have it'll look professional, but some of the colors we have in our current budget book will change. For instance, our long range forecast for all of our funds has certain colors. This will have a different look, but it'll have the same key information, but it will have a different look. I just want to mention that to the Commission. The budget book will look a little different once we fully roll it out. We have our EPIC goals 1 through 6. We have our colors attached to our EPIC goals, and we work with ClearGov to get those colors in those. So we will have our referencing, which is helpful when looking at the document. And kind of where we're at right now, we're in the process of moving the 24 budget into ClearGov. This is a transition year. We started our budget process in Munis, and then we're working in Munis, and we'll be pushing that over in the next month or so, basically, into ClearGov, and then completing that over the next few months. So we'll have our final budget for sure in ClearGov. That concludes my general comments, and now I'd like to turn it over to Sarah, who will go over a little more detail of what ClearGov offers for our city. And Sarah's on Zoom.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate you letting me share today. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're echoing though, so we need to figure out what we need to do to stop that from happening. Hang on just a second. I'm looking in the back there.
Seems like it's coming out of the
Yeah.
speaker behind us.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if it's,
Need to
there's
mute
some
that
other
one.
bouncing. Well, the good news is we only have one more meeting here, so this won't be a long-standing problem.
Yeah, bear with us.
Okay, I can't hear you anymore. Am I still echoing?
Yep, you are. They're working on it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, they're working on it.
Maybe the volume be down a little would help.
Do you want me to mute the television? Do you want me to mute the television?
They're working on that right now.
Well,
Mute that one.
It's not a bad idea, though.
Yeah, if you mute the television.
Yeah, it could make the difference.
Maybe just one.
Just one or both?
Both.
Both, I think, yep. Then maybe we won't be able to hear anything.
I know.
We'll see.
Try now, see what happens.
You want to try that again?
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Hmm?
Perfect.
Okay, fix it.
Okay, we gotcha.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will go ahead and share my screen here. I've just got a couple slides to walk through with everybody. All right, so ClearGov works with almost 1,000 communities across the United States. I wanted to bring up just a handful of the Florida clients that we're working with around you. You'll probably recognize some of these names up here. The reason why ClearGov does what it does is we work with municipalities who are working in spreadsheets, who know that spreadsheets can be error prone, who know that the processes could be more modern, but don't have a way to get there in Microsoft Excel. So we work to both build and split budgets with our software. And the way that we do that is by utilizing these 5 modules. So this piece, Clear Plans, is not a part of what we're going to be talking about today. This is our newest tool, but over on the right-hand side here, we have 3 tools for building your budget. We've got capital, personnel, and operational budgeting. These 3 tools are fully integrated with one another, and they're going to flow really nicely into our budget presentation tools, which are that digital budget book and transparency. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to walk you through each of these tools and then show you a live example of a current client who's around you who's using some of these presentation tools. So the first piece that I'll speak to is capital budgeting. And the name of the game in capital budgeting is really making it as easy as we can for your department heads to submit requests, and then making it as easy as we can for your finance department to review those requests and make long-range planning decisions. So this tool is going to have scenarios that will allow your finance team to really easily and quickly compare what-if scenarios around capital planning in ways that really Microsoft Excel doesn't allow you to. You would have to clone spreadsheets and make a lot of edits in different places. This tool will allow that decision-making to happen much more quickly and much more, and without ever having any kind of errors in spreadsheets. And the next piece in here is personnel budgeting. So in personnel, basically the way that this tool works is we set up rules around all the really complex calculations that your finance team is taking a ton of time to pull together today, so that way, if you're looking at things like COLAs, you can use our scenarios tool to look at a high level really quickly what happens if I add a 3% COLA, or what happens if I add a 4% COLA. And your additional pays and benefits are all going to be automated for them. So decision making is really easy in this tool as well, and it's going to create really nice visuals around that personnel data for the commission. The next piece in here is operational budgeting. And operational budgeting for this tool, your department heads will all be able to submit their request directly into the operational budgeting tool. It's going to improve communication so that you're not communicating in email separate from a spreadsheet. It will allow everything to really be streamlined and be able to make those budget decisions in the tool without having to manipulate a lot of spreadsheets. And it's going to improve accuracy in those spreadsheets. 88% of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets contain errors, and that does include budget
the budget, which is the reason why we wanted to make sure that there was an operational tool that will contain all of those communications and give you a really clean view into what the budget looks like as a whole. And so that is the budget building side of things. Capital is going to flow into operational budgeting. Personnel is going to flow into operational budgeting. And then when it comes to our digital budget book on the presentation side, this is the part where ClearGov is really going to do a lot of automation to make your finance team's lives a lot easier and also give you a really nice presentation of the budget. So what I want to do here is I want to pull up Daniel Beach's digital budget book. And this is going to look and feel a lot different probably than the PDF documents that you're used to. The way that this works is we've got our table of contents up across the top, so it's really easy to navigate instead of, a 200, 300 page book where you have to scroll back up to the top to find the next piece. A resident will find this document very easy to navigate. And if I pull over here into one of my fund summaries, Daniel Beach has come in here and given just a little bit of narrative, but all of these charts and graphs that are interactive throughout this book, ClearGov pulled together for them automatically out of the box. And that's the same thing that we would do for Dunedin. We will take your financial data and make it visual for you so that now a different kind of learner can come online into the budget book and pivot between different chart types. If I scroll down to our bar chart, I can slice and dice this data to understand some of the smaller pieces of the pie. And my spreadsheets in here, this is a really long spreadsheet. If a resident's online and they're really looking to understand the numbers from our visuals, they can pop those out and scroll through. So what we do is we basically give you the coloring book for obtaining a really nice giveaway award-winning budget book. You can focus on the narrative and allow us to build out the charts and graphs for you in your book so that way you can really tell the story of Dunedin's budget in the way that you want to and have that be really accessible by residents. And again, this is ADA optimized and the book is also easy to print to a PDF. So you're not going to lose that PDF version. We will automatically generate for you a full PDF with a linked table of contents with a click of a button, and you can even do that just for one segment of this budget. And then one other thing that I wanted to show you in here is the way that the capital plan looks in here. So when your department heads submit their requests through the capital budget, that is what's going, and those are accepted by your finance team, that's going to automatically pull together for you all of these nice visuals around the capital plan over multiple years. And now when you come in to view your capital plan, you'll have these really nice clean project overviews so that you can see not just the dollars and cents of your projects, but all of the context and all of the visuals and all of the information that you would need, and the residents will see that as well. But that's done automatically, so your finance team doesn't have to do extra work to have a really nice CIP book built out of this tool. So that is the digital budget book piece, and the last one that I'll speak to today is transparency. And transparency is a tool that's going to bring context to residents around why you're building your budget the way that you are. It will allow a ton of customization. And I have a live example of this as well. So in this live example, I'll dive into the expenditures page. And one thing that is really difficult for residents to grasp is where are my tax dollars really going? Right? So what this is going to do is allow residents to come in and understand their contribution to millions of dollars and what it really means to them. So they can drill down and understand how their taxes are contributing to different pieces of the budget in here. If I pivot over into our demographics page, this page can inform residents on why you make the decisions that you do. If there are a significant significantly higher amount of seniors in a community, that could explain a lot of the projects that a certain community was doing. Or family household, same thing, right? This kind of information is pulled together automatically through ClearGov, and these pages are going to be populated for you when you get started with the tool. Now, when I pivot back over to projects here, this projects page, when your department heads are filling out their forms to inform about capital projects, they'll be able to mark it on a map. And if you're doing, maybe a road project, a resident can come in and see this interactive map, click on the projects around them, and see all of the details of that project, but also all of the dollars that you've spent, as well as the current phase of that project and the expected timeline. And they can come in here and subscribe to project updates so that they can see where you're at as that project moves along.
That's awesome.
So especially for projects like, you all have just been talking about the golf course project. That would be a great one that the community is probably very invested in, that they would want to know, how is this going? Are we on schedule? You can imagine having the full context of that project and the phases through this website. And then the last thing that I'll show you in here is the dashboard. So the dashboards are incredibly customizable. We have a very robust chart building application that will allow you to show financial or non-financial data. And this tool can be used to build out and communicate really anything you want with the public. And you can build that out with custom interactive charts and graphs in here, so that it will look and feel like the charts and graphs of your budget book and throughout the transparency tool. But it will really allow your departments to communicate whatever they need to communicate with the public through this website. So that's really it for me today. I wanted to walk through each of these tools individually, give you kind of a taste of what it is that we'll be doing. And I appreciate the time here today, and I'll yield the rest of my time here for questions if there are any.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you.
Did you guys have any follow-up comments or?
No, just the only thing I wanted to mention was just to clarify that, and Sarah mentioned that the digital budget book is kind of an add-on we don't have now, and GFO is really pushing that. It's part of the award program now. They're recommending that cities work at getting a digital budget book, and they actually want the submission to be digital budget to them directly at some point in the future. But we'll have our same budget, but we'll also have this digital budget book that'll be online that is sort of more user-friendly for people to look at and look through the budget rather than having the big 400-page document we have now. So
did you just say we're not going to have that piece yet?
No, we will have it. Yeah, we'll have the digital budget book. Once we complete our 24 budget, we'll have our normal budget document plus the digital budget both. We'll have them both. Yeah.
And when are you installing this?
We're in transition now. We're working. We started the budget in Munis, and we've been working with the ClearGov team. We'll be rolling our operating budget numbers over in the next few weeks, and we're working on our CIP right now. So during this year, we'll be rolling it everything into ClearGov and getting it all fine-tuned, and then the plan would be our final budget, our tentative budget and final budget we expect to be in ClearGov, and then then the budget document will look a little different, like I mentioned, but it will be a PDF, like she mentioned, and then we'll have that the digital budget book will just be online and just sort of an easier format to read the budget.
So we're not going to see it on June 1st?
No, June. No, we're not. Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, the business plans is the same as we did it last year, prior years.
Okay. Questions? I'll start on this side this time.
Yeah. So, Les, I have a couple. So, when we got the Tyler system, we bought a module for budget, right? It was included in that?
Yes. Yeah, it includes a budget module, yes.
Okay, so I know you just made the comment about the digital, so can you kind of just clarify the difference of what we have that we really already paid for and what we're getting?
Yeah, sure. We, Munis budget will allow us to enter line item and detail budgets, which is, we've been doing that, since we've had Munis. And Naviline was similar before we had Munis. And it would allow us to, and then, so we enter the budget in Munis by line item, and then we pull it all out and put it in Excel. then we work through the budget, having multiple Excel files, and that's kind of how we have our different versions of the budget. We do our proposed budget, and then if we have changes, we revise it throughout the process.
One thing, if I could just interrupt you.
Yeah, sure.
So the result of that is that when we change something in the budget, you have to change it in multiple places. So my understanding is this software will allow us to change it once, and it will change throughout the budget.
And flows through to a book that's created automatically. The books you see now, every page, I'm manually changing things on that, PDFing it, and putting it into one giant file. This is a one-stop shop, hopefully, that's the idea. And it'll create that whole book for me based on the changes that are being entered in that system.
So we'll still use parts of the Tyler system, Eunice, whatever?
Yes, we will. We'll be, this year's a transition year, but next year, in '25, when we do the budget, we will begin the budget in ClearGov, and we'll develop the budget in ClearGov. And then once the budget's completed in ClearGov, we would then push the budget into Munis, and we would have that way we have our budget to actuals in Munis, and we're able to track our activities in our Munis financial system. So we'll still be using Munis to kind of monitor our budget and check for variances and make sure that we're on budget plan. But the goal is moving forward, beginning next year, is we would develop the entire budget in ClearGov and then move it over to Munis once complete. And again, the key things the other key thing is, as Ashley mentioned, right now we've got 5 or 6 Excel files that are not all necessarily linked. She makes changes, it could be in 2 to 7 places. And the other thing is, the transparency module that Sarah mentioned and I mentioned, that's going to be awesome for the citizens, and I think awesome for I think the commission and stakeholders will like to see that, because you've got a lot of financial information, about the city at your fingertips, and it's right there. It also offers the ADA, which is pretty huge too, online, and also it's when it's all set up and finalized, it'll be a repository of, right now, we've got like 6 or 7 years of actuals in the system already, and we're continuing to update our actuals. So it's a place where you can go into the transparency, and you can go back to 2016 and look at the general fund and what revenues over expenses. So it's a really cool way to have all your information for a multiple period of time in one place.
So I know this was listed as $36,000 a year is included in the budget, but I'm assuming it's included in the budget because we're making it included in the budget. It's not anything we expected. We got the Tyler system, it included a budget module, so this is an additional $36,000 a year cost. We're just building it into the budget.
That's correct. Yeah, that's right. We estimated it would be 50, and it came in. We got a 3-year contract for $36,000 a year for 3 years with ClearGov. But that's right. It was added to the budget in 24 during that 23 during that process.
Do we have any savings on the Munis side for the fact that their budget module is deficient?
No, there's no savings, and I just want to mention that the Munis's budget module is not a good tool. In other words, you can put the budgets in there, but what's neat about this program and some others, we chose this one, is you've got one source of truth. If I put a number in, it's in there, and if I change it, this system says, Les Tyler changed it on this date. We have a constant audit trail throughout the entire process for each person. If Ashley makes a change, it's all documented, and the date, the time, and everything. And so we have a great audit trail here too. I mean, throughout the whole budget process, and we'll have that for years once this thing's rolled out. So this thing offers, along with the transparency and building the budget, like Ashley mentioned, once all this information's in, we have narrative to update, but it really helps you prepare the budget to where now. We've got Excel files all over and Word files that we're putting PDFing and commingling, to put the document together, and this will be a time saver, I believe, for departments, a time saver for the finance department as well, not just other departments. And I think it's going to be a really good tool and for the citizens as well once the transparency module's out and the digital budget book too once it's out.
I mean, how much custom building is it? I mean, some of the pages we see are build-out pages, but now it's on us to build out some of that customization. Like, you know, how much do we have to count on a lot of labor to get to that and actually keep it up? You know, I look at the timelines about projects and I'm like, well, that's great, but of course it's only as good as the fact that we have to have time to make sure they're updated. So tell me about that.
That's a good question. Well, there is effort rolling it out. You know, there's effort in. We've got to move all of our projects. We're working on that now into ClearGov, and we're working on that right now. We've got 150 projects and getting those all in, and we are having to sort of build the form. They have a very user-friendly form. We've got to build it, and we're working on that with ClearGov. So this year we'll take some extra time. I mean, mainly from finance staff, and we'll do some training with departments this year, and then it'll be more in depth next year because we'll be doing the entire budget process next year in ClearGov. But first year we'll take some extra time. But I do think that this program's very customizable, and I do think that next year, once these projects are all in, we'll have to add new projects, but once they're in, they're in. And it's not, it should be very simple, I think, year after year, other than additions and deletions to update things.
Okay. Well, I mean, it looks great. I mean, I've just seen organization after organization, they buy these packages, and then one by one, they replace the modules with different modules, and it's like, you know, sometimes, you know, nothing personal to ClearGov. I've started to call it a Ponzi scheme. You know, like you get deep into these projects and you find out, oh yeah, that doesn't do that. So then you go out and buy something different. And so it's a money sucker. But I have great confidence in you guys that you have done your homework and it looks great. Because I have so much faith in you, I believe you'll implement it well. So I'm good with that. This does go back to the whole wanting that big discussion on our whole system. Mm-hmm. How many modules have worked? How many modules haven't worked? You know, those kinds of things. So, but I'm supportive of this, and you guys do an awesome job, and you get what you want from me.
May I ask a question based on your comments about Tyler? I'm presuming, and you tell me, that whatever the budget module with them was, did we expect that to operate better than it is or will? Or did we always know that we were going to go find a supplement?
That's a good question. I wasn't here when ClearGov was, when Munis was selected. Munis, yeah. But I talked to a lot of people about it, and I think basically, I think that I don't know what promises were made as far as the budget module itself. I don't think, I've not spent any time looking at the budget module for our old program Naviline, because when I got here, we got into Munis. At the time, it was where we rolled Munis out about 6 months after I got here. So I've been doing the budget in Munis since I've been here pretty much. But I don't think Naviline was a lot better than Munis. I mean, I'm just kind of comparing, and I think
is Munis under Tyler or no?
It's Tyler Munis.
Tyler Munis, yeah,
Right.
Tyler Munis.
Okay.
Yeah.
The prior program was Naviline we had before we went to Tyler Munis. So I don't know what promises were made, but I think it's a very basic budget program. It's just, all it does is enter it. There's your detail. It doesn't build
Jennifer,
budgets.
Sorry, Les, do you remember?
I don't recall, again, that predated me as well. I don't recall exactly what was promised.
Because, I mean,
but
I know
we
a
can-
lot.
Right, we can have a look, because we did actually go through all of our notes, and whatever we had for when Tyler was pitching, if you will, their ERP, and I can have a look and see exactly if anything specifically was promised. But what we do know is that given Tyler Munis, the outward-facing portion of it is not available. The transparency, as well as the one-stop shop, is not available. And I don't know if they said it was or it wasn't, but it's not.
Well, and I'm not saying that they,
Right.
I'm just
It
curious.
is very,
I'm just curious.
I don't want to say
why-
industry standard, but it's very common to overpromise and underperform for these projects. You get sucked in, you put so much staff time in, you don't want to get out, and it's, that's why really on the front end, it's so important for us to do our homework because they're good at it. I mean, they're good at overpromising and underperforming. Sure.
Just like the cable company. No, I'm not kidding. Cable companies are famous for it, and we're going through it right now. Okay, I didn't mean to take us off track. Commissioner Walker?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a cloud-based subscription service, right?
Yes, cloud-based, correct.
And I guess what's not clear to me is the interface between Munis and ClearGov. Is ClearGov provide the data to Munis, and we're still working with the spreadsheets on the back end, or how's that work?
Yeah, well, for current year, transition year, we are developing, at this point, we've developed the business plan the same way as we have the last couple of years in Excel, with the project pages being the same way in Excel. And we'll be pushing that data over to ClearGov to get that information in. So next year, the plan would be that all those projects and all of our budgets in for 23, we would start for 24, excuse me, we'd start the 25 budget a year from now, and we would create that entire budget in ClearGov, not Munis. But as far as the interactivity, that's, just ClearGov has lots of Tyler Munis clients, and I think for part of the reason is their budget module is limited. I think that they have a lot of Tyler Munis clients, so they've worked with it a lot, and we sent our files to them, and we sent all of our prior year actuals and budgets to them, and they very easily got those in their system. We checked them over. Ashley checked them over and made sure that they tied out to our current records. So the ability to import data from Munis to ClearGov is very smooth, and which is a good thing. And like the other thing we can do is once the budget's opened up in next year in 24, we can take Munis and send our actuals monthly into ClearGov. So ClearGov has our budget to actuals every month as well as Munis, and we'll do that eventually too. So we've kind of got it in two places. So but the interactivity is so far been very, very smooth as far as imports and just being able to push data from one program to the other.
Okay, and then so eventually Munis would phase out. You wouldn't be using Munis.
Yeah, eventually we would build the entire budget in ClearGov, and we would, at the end of when the budget was complete, we would put the line item budget in Munis. So we had our financial system where we're paying all of our bills from having the budget, so we can track the detailed budget in Munis as well. So we would have it. We'd just dump it in when it was complete in the end of September once the budget was approved.
Okay. And is Munis, is that a cloud-based subscription as well?
It's currently not, but we're actually just moving. The IT director, Michael Nagy, is working on that now, and we're actually testing. We've got Munis in a test system, and we're testing it right now on the cloud. And the goal would be to be on the cloud, I would say, within the next 30 days, and we'll be running off the cloud in Munis.
Okay. Yeah, that's a much more secure configuration as well, right?
Exactly. That's why we wanted to move to it. Why Michael wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. So just I'm sorry I wasn't clear then. So but eventually you'd be phasing out Munis, right?
We would not phase it because Munis is our financial system, and Munis will be our our entire ERP is going to be Munis eventually. Payroll's on Munis. Our financial is on Munis. We're moving our InterGov is going to be rolled out soon. That's our permitting and product, and also work orders. Our complete ERP will be in Munis, and we'll be putting the budget in Munis and tracking it. But the only thing different is we'll be eventually building the budget in ClearGov, and then and then putting the final budget into Munis to have the ability to track our budget actuals throughout the year.
Oh, so Munis is more of the enterprise layer of the IT infrastructure for the city.
Yeah. Munis right now is our financial system, and that includes all of our accounting, and all of our actuals, paying bills. But also we want to make sure we have those budgets by line item to be able to track those in Munis as well.
This other thing is like a working tool.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm hearing it.
Yeah, it's the user interface, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so that's an important distinction because, you've got to have the user interface, but in terms of the things that I like about ClearGov is its usability. It looks, I did some research before the meeting here, and then also the transparency, because this will also be the website-facing portal to the residents in the community, right?
That's correct.
In terms of the presentation of that. Okay. And, okay. All right. I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. So my only concern was before, and it's mostly been answered, was on the implementation. And it was more on the technical side. So it sounds like there really is none on the technical side. And it's really just the interface for the implementation that you're doing now to get the information in the system. Everything else has been cleared up. So it's really the cost of the program, and the rest of it is smooth. It's done. It's already done.
Yeah, we're not. I just want to mention we're transitioning. We're about to move our operating budget into ClearGov, and we know how that's going to. We know that's going to work. We know it's an easy import for them. And we're developing our CIP in ClearGov right now. We're in the process of working with ClearGov on that. So we still have work to do, and also the personnel module. That's an area we still need to work with them on, as far as getting all of our detailed personnel into ClearGov. So we have some work to do, but we've got a good plan with them moving forward to make that happen. To get everything there.
There's strong compliance from compliance. That's a good word. From ClearGov on the implementation.
Yeah, ClearGov so far has been great to work with. They've made all their commitments, and they are very responsive. We asked, we've had questions, and they're actually doing some enhancements in their program for some of the things we do on our budget that they're working on. So they've been really good to work with. Very, very flexible. Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it seems like we're all concerned about the interfacing, a lot of it. And you talked about importing, and so right now this is a budget tool. And so what is that, because you also mentioned importing. And so the idea is this going to be kind of seamless as far as the interface between Tyler and ClearGov? Is there going to be any manual updating of either system we have to do past the initial importing?
I would say after we get done with the this first year implementation, I don't think there would be very much manual information at all, because we'll have all the projects in, we'll have our operating budget in by detail. So this year there'll be a little bit, but not in all areas, but some. But next year, I would expect that we would not be double entering anything I can think of right now. You agree with that, Ashley?
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the plan, yeah. That is the plan, yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
And right now, do we know how many other cities that are using ClearGov also have Tyler?
Yeah, there's
Our client base.
Okay.
So we have 980 clients, so 40% of that.
That's not only testament to ClearGov, but it also maybe mentions something about Tyler. I don't know. And Ashley, you're okay with this? For the one who carries the heavy lift?
It's definitely needed. I mean, we're kind of maxed out right now with just producing what we are. We would really like to do more analytics through the year. We'd like to do a lot more throughout the year, but we're so caught up in taking the data that's dumped into Munis and creating all these reports and department pages and CIP forms that you see. There's only so much time in the day, so.
All right, this will allow you to work smarter, not harder. Very good.
Right.
I like it. That was kind of it. And I love the transparency portion, and the more we can be outward facing to the public, the better that is. So that's a nice element. So well done. Is it?
The only thing I wanted to be really clear about is, the transition, the updating Tyler with the ClearGov information. You asked if any manual things had to be done. Are you just pushing a button, or are you having to send the information to ClearGov and have them enter it?
I'll let Ashley
So
answer that one.
I think the way that's going to work is once we put everything into ClearGov at the end of the year after we adopt, we will dump the data into an Excel file and upload it into Munis.
Okay, so that's nothing.
It should be, it should be simple. And we've sent information, a lot of information to ClearGov, and it seemed pretty simple on their end to put it into ClearGov from Munis as well. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's great. The more we can interact with our residents, I'll say that first, for them to be able to see where their tax dollars are going is really awesome. And I mean, it's one of our epic goals to communicate well with our residents, so this totally fits into that. And having been somebody who was a forecaster, I spent my life in Microsoft Excel. I mean, really. I was in charge of the entire company's planning, sales planning. I think I had a 130-some page spreadsheet at any given time. So I totally understand the nightmare that is. When you're really good at it, you get into it and you're used to it. But yeah, sometimes you're like, you want to change that, really? Oh my God. And it's more about the work you have to do than the actual change. So having a program that helps you with that is extremely beneficial just to the organization on a whole. And I hear what Commissioner Franny was talking about with the projects, because yeah, we're going to need to do that. But guess what? We need to be communicating about our projects anyway. And if this forces the way to do it.
Oh, no, I totally agree.
It's
just going to highlight.
Yeah, it's
the
a
importance
change.
of keeping it up to date.
Right.
Yeah, because if there's anything, if we don't keep it up to date, then we really look bad. Mm-hmm. But I mean, being able to communicate early, and I mean, knowing that it's there, like that capital project, I can totally see it. It just forces us to think about the fact, okay, this is going on the website, I got to communicate it, and I got to communicate it correctly. Because it's, and Sue will be using that, I'm guessing, to put out any social media blasts. Mm-hmm. So I think it makes a much better interconnectivity. I think sometimes we'll jump in a project, any one of us really, not just talking about our people, but I mean in my own world, you forget that there are certain steps that have to be followed with every single project. Because you just want to jump into the project. This kind of forces you to have to think about the timeline. And yep, the timeline's going to change. Every project does not end exactly when you say it's going to. It's impossible. Construction just doesn't work that way. So, I think that'll be a good thing, once it all gets done. I'm really pleased with it. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for being on today. Okay. Anybody from the public have any comments? All right. Well, there's nothing for us to vote on. It's already happening. This was just an update, correct?
It's informational.
Okay. All right. We appreciate that. And we'll get back to the rest of our agenda here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck with all of it. And hopefully you're excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You guys are going to have a lot of spare time now, though, right? A lot of spare time?
Yeah. Okay. We're going to move to commission discussion. Commissioner Gao has mentioned he had a matter he wanted to bring forward.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it shouldn't take long. One of the recent bills that was passed this year was to do a study about banning fertilizer. And there was even an article in it this morning which kind of got my mind thinking. What I would like to bring forward is the discussion of our fertilizer ban. And I know right now we don't have one, because the county has a ban. And within this study that they're doing, there is a grandfather period. And my concern is, with that grandfather period, is there an opportunity for Dunedin to have our own ordinance in case of whatever the county might do 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. If they want to make a change to that, if we're left outside of that, we don't have that grandfather, so we would lose that concern over any type of fertilizer ban. So what I'd like to do is just have a discussion on the fertilizer ban, the benefits of it, and whether or not it would lead to our own ordinance that would mimic or copy what the county has or be a little more conservative.
All right, so if I may add to that, Jennifer Cowan and I had our weekly meeting last week, and I asked her if she would bring forward, I know they normally do a legislative update, right? In end of June or July, you know, depending on all the things that the governor actually signs or vetoes. I asked her, I said, there's a lot of things that have happened this thing, if she could bring like the top 5 or 7 things that, you know, we need to, we should know about in case people ask. Maybe we can ask her to take a look at that fertilizer thing that you're talking about to see,
I'd be happy to.
to advise on that, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, that would be fine. And in your research, because if I read the article this morning correctly, we have until July 1. And so time sensitive, if I read it correctly. And
It's a great point. I mean, you don't want to get left out of some grandfathering because we don't have the rule ourselves or whatever. I didn't read the article, so.
Right.
But I mean, if I'm following you what you're saying, it's a great point.
So, when were you planning to come forward with those top things?
On the 6th.
June 6th?
Yeah, during the city attorney comments, and if there wasn't enough time, because I know that that's a really busy schedule, then June 8th. But I'd be prepared on the 6th, just depending on how the timing of the meeting provided.
Okay, well, let's go with that, but will you double check and talk with Commissioner Gao? Because if there is some grandfathering that we need to know about, we need to know about it sooner than later, because we would have to advertise it. I mean, we'd need to know now. So I can't imagine they would do it that quick and not give anybody a chance to respond, but we know Tallahassee. So would you double check, and we'll let you be the lead on that, and then Jennifer, you can talk to
Jennifer.
other Jennifer. Sorry, I caught myself.
Watching you.
You know, to stay on it, because if there is a grandfathering thing, then
We're actually going to have to get back to you before that meeting, just because if you were to adopt an ordinance, you need
First
two,
reading.
first reading, second reading.
right,
So.
right,
Yeah.
I
On
mean-
that one in particular, on the grandfathering, we'll have to get back to you before that.
right.
Just a point of notice here, when this happens, the county controls this by what gets sold within the county, correct?
Yeah, they do.
And so where we buy our fertilizer is within the county usually. You can go outside the county and buy it.
Yeah.
With the other, another county allows you to do that. That's sort of the control point of it, so.
Yeah, we opted in
So the question is how.
versus opting
Yeah.
out.
The question is this real sensitivity of this is, you know, we can declare what we think is important, but I don't know how we control this.
Well, that's the point, which is why we opted into theirs, because they were the control point, although I don't know how much of that control's actually happening, but
And certainly when we.
it has gotten better over time.
And certainly when we do it, there'd be almost no control.
Right.
Because we don't sell
We
it.
don't have the staff
Well,
either.
And we don't sell it here, you know, so that's how they control it.
Well, Ace sells it, don't they?
But it's a
I
good,
don't think they sell it during the period,
Right,
right?
we of all people know the importance of grandfathering because of vacation rentals.
yeah.
So I think if there's some nuance,
We just need to know about that
now.
right away.
Yeah.
And I say we, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to wait until you talk to us. If there's some grandfathering claim that needs to be done, we need to do that immediately. You don't need our approval to put that on the agenda. It doesn't mean it changes anything in the ordinance itself, other than that statement that is required by law now, right? I mean, I would think. I don't know. It depends what it says.
Right.
We'll look and get back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay.
Jen first.
City clerk's update.
Thank you, Mayor. The clerk's office received a letter from the Committee on Environmental Quality and Sustainability recommending that the city consider developing a clean renewable energy procurement policy and program. And Staff Liaison Natalie Gass is here in case you have any questions on the recommendations of the committee and provide any staff feedback to those recommendations.
Well, I haven't even read it, so I've not read it. Have you guys read it? I don't.
Yeah, the letter and the response.
Where is it?
It's in
So attached to the city clerk's update is the original letter that was sent by the CEQS.
Okay, there's never anything in our city clerk's update, so I'm sorry, I didn't even look. Because there's never anything there.
Would you like Natalie to go over it at all or not? Not at this time.
No, I'd like to actually read it. And,
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to give guidance on something I haven't even thought about.
So, Mayor, the Exhibit A is the letter itself, which is dated February 28th, and then Exhibit B is the letter and staff's
there.
response to that letter.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be able to read it. I literally didn't look there. Well, it was Mother's Day weekend, so that messed it up a little bit. That's like a holiday for me. I know the guys don't care, but well, it's not. It's a work weekend for them, is what that is.
I've been called a mother once or twice. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's your problem now.
That was good.
But yeah, I'd like to be able to digest it and see what it is.
So when do you want to?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
For a meeting or something?
I don't know. I don't even know what the staff's response was. So I haven't talked to Jennifer about it. I mean, I don't want to sit here and be forced to read it on the dais. I literally didn't know it was there.
So I think, if I may, Mayor, the best thing to do is it's informational. It's for, for your information. The CEQs is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, advising the commission of action that it would like to see the city commission take. Staff's response is to that letter is essentially, we're doing an audit. We're currently doing an audit, a facility audit, and it addresses a lot of those comments that were made by the CEQS. And so, if you all read it and would like us to discuss it more, then we'll put it back on the agenda for discussion. But at this point, the response is the response to their comments.
Okay, I feel just very uninformed, and my apologies if that's showing disrespect to anybody. There is never anything under city clerk's thing, so I didn't feel the need to check it. Never.
So dare I say, since we have CEQ people, does anybody want to add to the,
Well, but then we're going to get in a back and forth, right?
Well, no, we're not. We're just listening right now. So
but.
Because we're not going to discuss it because we all need to read it. But if they're here and they wanted to add to anything for our consideration, this may be the moment,
But I can't even listen to it with an informed mind. Okay. I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't like to be caught off guard, and that's exactly what's happened here. I'm not informed on the subject. If they want to get up and speak, I don't want to stop them. We are an open forum, but I literally, and it didn't come up in yesterday's agenda review, so I had my meeting with Rebecca last week. She didn't tell me it was coming, so I mean, I literally didn't know. But I'm not going to stop anybody from. If you guys want to talk about it, I just don't want to get everybody's hopes up or have an argument about staff feels one way and a group feels another or any of that without it being informed about it. Whatever you guys want to do. It's up to you.
I'll make a comment. I respect the mayor's position of not feeling comfortable dealing with it. I have no problem with somebody making a presentation about it, so we just listen to it. But I respect your position. You don't feel
Well, and if we're going to have a presentation about something that's not even on the agenda, it's not listed.
It's an informational item for all of you. It's a letter from the CEQS.
Right, but I mean, we should have something. It should be agendized or something.
If you want to agenda.
Well, I'm not saying that we should. I'm saying if we're going to have a presentation, that should be agendized.
If you want a presentation, then we'll agendize.
But I'm not saying we do want a presentation. I don't know. I haven't read it. Do you see what I'm saying, John?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know whether we need a presentation yet. I haven't read it. I'm looking at all of you.
Yeah, so I've taken a look at this. I would like to see this put on an agenda and presented, not today, but later. I think there's some topics in here I think would be good for us to hear, and to hear some of the background as presented by the committee.
We can do that then. Put it under informational or whatever, and, but then if it's going to be a presentation, then I want the full staff recommendations with it.
Well, it's under informational right now, so we'll put it in a workshop item.
Yep. Because I don't want to walk into this conversation without having it fully examined.
Sure. We can do that.
Yeah, this looks pretty straightforward, and I do commend the request and the response. I think they're absolutely good. But I think just as a kind of a larger topic, I think this would be worthy of just getting the background behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys okay with that?
Yeah, make it a workshop item. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm a little disappointed for the.
Well, I am
CEQ
too, and I
members that
feel
came
bad.
tonight.
I had no idea that, we even have a staff member here. I had no idea that there was any desire of this. And I'm the chair. And I'm mapping out the timing of a meeting, and there's more to consider than just hearing from you. I had no idea that this was coming, which is unusual. So I don't like to throw stuff in the middle, because whenever we do that, it goes awry. Every single time I follow my gut, it doesn't go awry. It may not feel comfortable, but whenever stuff that we don't plan on starts happening, and then what happens when the next group wants to come forward at the end of a meeting and make a presentation that didn't know about. We have to be consistent in our rules,
So,
I think.
yeah, and
So you'll work with Natalie, Jennifer,
Absolutely. Yes,
to schedule when that should be?
we will.
Okay.
I'm good with that. I either wanted him to talk today if we're not going to do it at another meeting, but if we're going to do it at another meeting, then it makes sense to wait.
I think the topics are good to bring up. I think it's worthy of discussion, and I think this deserves more attention than the way it's presented right now. It's just the subject matter. Yeah.
Okay, agreed. All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry you had to sit here. Literally, I had no idea. I thought you guys were just here to listen. And I kept thinking, why are CEQ people here?
Well,
Had
I
no
haven't
clue.
seen Alan for a little while, so I knew.
I know. Well, I didn't know. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, city manager update.
So, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, we have the city manager's written update, and also we have the monthly analysis from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office attached to that as well, for your information.
Okay, city attorney update?
No update at this time.
Can we ask a question to the manager?
You may.
So I know we've got this event in June in the old City Hall building, but then is it our intent to be ready to roll in the shovels and knock down the building after that? So it's not really kind of a building in decay on Main Street?
It is our intent, yes.
The pipe band's going to be practicing in here
Correct.
before it goes down, I hope.
A week, yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
that's what I meant.
the building in decay, we're keeping the lights on, obviously. It doesn't, I don't think it's not dark at night. You know what I mean? It's, a lot of people don't know that we're not in here. So we'll definitely we're keeping the landscaping up and all those sorts of things. So we won't let it look like a building in decay, and then we will be ready to roll as soon as possible after that.
And the other thing is, I'm continuing to field pickleball calls, so, at some point, do we have kind of a plan that, kind of where we think we're gonna be coming? You guys
We do, absolutely,
coming
and I'm
back to
actually
us?
meeting with Vince after this meeting to go over the final staff recommendations and what the timeline looks like.
Right, and I actually noticed that we had one of the Sterling people asking, I assumed you guys as staff were gonna answer that. I think it went to all of us about kind of, their their interest in this and,
Right.
you know, what we're doing, so, cool, thank you.
Any other questions for the city manager?
No.
Okay, commission comments. Commissioner Gallo?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Baseball.
Yeah.
Regional tonight, Dunedin High School baseball.
Oh, nice.
6:30 at TD Park. If they win tonight, they're on to states, which are Friday and Saturday.
Regional.
Or Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and they specifically, because if you remember last year, they held the state playoff
They did.
during graduation.
Yeah.
And so this year, they.
That's not happening.
That's why graduation is tomorrow night. They actually looked at the baseball schedule to make sure.
So that didn't happen again?
It didn't happen
That's
again.
awesome.
That's good, yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
and then there is graduation tomorrow night, so, and I believe we're all invited. Certainly, I know I'm attending. Mayor, I think you're attending.
I believe I am.
I will be attending.
You will be attending?
Yeah, I was scheduled to attend, but I may not be able to attend, which I was gonna have done, and probably call in, but so I may not be able to be there. I am gonna be at the baseball game tonight.
Vice Mayor, you're attending? Very good, so we will be represented.
Good.
7 o'clock, right? No kidding.
So that's all.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
I'm fine, thank you.
Commissioner Franny?
So I said when we were off camera, I'm gonna say it on camera, you know, between being a staff person and commissioner, this is our second to last meeting here, our last time to make comments. It will be really, really nice to not be in a public meeting and hear a toilet flush. This building, again, one of our 3 buildings that were, you know, this one will be torn down, but that were, you know, overdue to be replaced, and Friday's gonna be a very exciting night. Because, you know, exciting night for our employees and an exciting night for our citizens and anybody that intimately, whether you're a customer, citizen, or a staff person that was intimately involved in those buildings knows, you know, they were way overdue to go, and now we're gonna have something to be really proud of. So that was one thing. I did want to say last night, and Commissioner Gow was there as well, the Dunedin Public Theater Group had a fundraiser at Casatina's and was well attended, and I think Casatina was given like 20% of their profits of the night. So that group, I think, is, you know, have applied for their nonprofit status. They're working towards a feasibility study, and you know, obviously we don't have money to put in that game, but I certainly am a big supporter. I think most of us are. That it would be great if the passionate group kind of is successful. Art Center started with a passionate group, and look where it ended up. So, and that's not done yet either. So very exciting. And then the only last thing I was going to add is, and I think I've personally told a couple of you, but I've been very busy the last month because when I got out of college and moved to Dunedin, my parents were kind of devastated. They were like, why are you, because I'm from Ohio, and they were like, why are you going all the way down there? Like, no one will visit you. No one will, why are you doing that? And they were in tears. And of course, then everybody visits, and everybody loves Dunedin, and now my mother is actually going to move to Dunedin and probably be here by July.
Nice.
So, very excited about that. So.
That's awesome.
And I am making her eat her words that, you know, no one will ever forget. So, anyway, thank you.
Commissioner Walker?
Yeah, so I just, Friday will be a very exciting day because obviously we're going to be opening the new city hall. And I will say that, you know, after getting my tour of the facility, I was very impressed with the usability and basically how the space is utilized. And, you know, the first thing to always go in a, you know, whether it be a business or whether it be a government facility, are the conference rooms. There are a lot of conference rooms in that building, and I think that's great. So anyway, I'm excited about it. And as for the other things, my liaison, I don't have anything to add at this time, but there will be more to follow per discussion with the city manager. So,
okay.
Thank you.
I just have a couple of things. We're having our budget meetings tomorrow for the Tourist Development Council. With the documents I'm looking at, tourism is just, the bed tax is just rising, which is a good key indicator for a penny. And they're planning for major rises. I mean, Not as big as maybe, 5 years ago, pre-COVID, but they are planning for solid rises, and I think that's a good indicator for our penny for the following year. So I wanted to share that with you. I'll have more information after tomorrow. Manatee County is moving forward with their ferry system, and their bed tax is paying for it. And we have attorney opinions now. So I don't know what's going to happen, but fingers crossed. We are fighting this fight. As a matter of fact, I would like the option, if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to draft a letter either from us as Dunedin or I think it's more effective if it's Dunedin, Forward, Pinellas, PSTA, and City of Clearwater. But there needs to be a letter with links to these articles that are out about Manatee and what they're doing, sent to the county commission, because they're getting ready to go into their budget discussions. And the roadblock, I'm not sure, is with the commissioners. That's, so we've got to tell them what's happening if they don't already see it. Now, I know they've got a lot of other things going on, but I would like to work on a letter. Obviously, Jennifer will look at it. I'm not going to embarrass you in any way, shape, or form, or put us in a bad light, because we need those good relationships with the county commission. But we are meeting with the waterborne transportation people at the end of the week, and then there's another big meeting next week with them. So,
Mary, you had mentioned PSTA, and do you think there's any room for consideration for at least a portion of the Jolly Trolley during the year, during high tourist season, to justify some support for the Jolly Trolley, or even the
I do.
Sunrunner in
I
St.
do.
Pete?
I think
Or is that too much?
I think there is every opportunity for that. However, we've got to I can't pass two things at once. That's the problem. I need to get through one and then show that it meets the same criteria.
Right.
But I absolutely agree. I think a good portion of the North Coastal route, at least, and certainly the Clearwater Beach route, is tourism-based. Doesn't mean that our residents don't get to be on it too, but
Right.
but yeah. So if you guys would be okay, I'd like to work on that.
What is the primary rationale for not doing it?
For not doing what?
With bed tax dollars?
For not supporting the waterborne transportation?
Well, at first it says it could only be capital, and it was buses. It didn't specifically say boats. That was one of the pieces.
Okay, well, that's a technicality. It might be okay.
It is, but it can be challenged. That was the
I
first.
see. So it could be face legal challenge. Okay.
Yes.
That's the purpose of the letter.
That's yes, some of it. And then the other piece is it capital versus operations? The new opinions and what they're using it for operations, not just capital. And what we want to do is keep the ferries they have right now. We're not looking for we're not looking for the big capital piece at this moment. We're looking at just pay it's like $450,000 to pay for the route from Clearwater to downtown to us and back.
Which is operating, and that's
which is
part
all
of the debate.
operating annually. And who's going to pay that? And, we've gone to the county. Would they pay half of that? No. Now we're working on PSTA getting a grant. Would they even pay a quarter of it? Like if we all split it 4 ways. I just need we just need the county commission to love this idea and say, let's find the most reasonable way to do it, and let's do it.
WIT is in favor of it?
Absolutely. I'm not talking about the letter, I'm talking about the whole program.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He has been
I
to
get
the
it.
county over and over and over again, and he's been told absolutely no.
Gotcha.
We will not contribute to this. So we have to go a different direction.
They They must be afraid of opening some floodgate of requests for.
Well, I'm sure that's
the only
part of
thing
it,
that makes
except they
sense.
spent, I don't know,
Either way.
$500,000 or whatever the enormous amount for that ferry that went from St. Pete to Tampa? Are you kidding me?
You have an opinion on that?
Oh, that was a ridiculous spend. I mean, I'm so appreciative, but do you think that was the priority? How many cars do you think that took off the road that affected directly Pinellas?
Which is what I like about our ferry.
Right, this is direct effect.
No, I'm good with the letter.
So
I
it's
just wanted to
something,
understand.
and of course, there'll be many eyes on it, so it's not just me sending it off. I don't want to have to bring it back and get approval, so y'all will trust me. And again, everybody's got to agree to the letter. I haven't gotten everybody to agree to the letter. What likes the idea, but I think it's more powerful if we get everybody on the letter, so that it's a cohesive unit of people, not just City of Dunedin squeaking or Forward Pinellas squeaking or any, you know what I mean, that it's a big group. Yeah, it's a unified situation.
Mayor, and if I may dovetail to that, and it's kind of a different subject, but transportation. I was attended the Forward Pinellas Bike Ped Advisory Committee meeting yesterday, and there were questions about, for all of our multimodal transit that we're doing throughout the county and our Vision Zero, are we making any progress? You know, are we getting, and there is no, they don't measure that, so they don't know. You know, the number of deaths, yes, we can measure stuff like that. The number of crashes, yes, but if that's reducing, is it tied back to bike lanes, things of that nature? Can we prove that we're reducing the number of cars on the road?
That part, no.
Right, no. And so that was kind of the
They do
conversation.
have metrics.
Should we have a goal? Instead of focusing on, yay, just another bike lane, it should be reducing the number of cars on the road, and this is a way to do it. And so it was just an interesting conversation.
Okay.
That was just because you'd mentioned getting cars off the road, and that's why you want the ferry born. You know, what can that do to Clearwater Beach and alleviating that traffic on the
Right.
causeway there? Wonderful. That can alleviate traffic in Dunedin because they're now coming by ferry, you know, car traffic, you know. So it's just a way to look at transportation as a whole. And, you know, what's the purpose on why we want all this?
Yeah, and they do have the metrics on the crashes and deaths and all of that. And they are measuring the Vision Zero and what % reduction they want to see every year. They are doing that. I don't know if they're looking at if by adding bike lanes, traffic has been reduced. Now, they do traffic counts on every road imaginable. So they should be able to measure it. I just haven't looked at it that way. I don't know if they do, but I'll check.
Oh, and please do, and yeah, they certainly do measure, but can they tie the result of that measurement back to it's because of this is what we're doing?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll certainly talk about that. And then I saw that the Suncoast League of Cities dinner is this Saturday night, right?
Yes.
Are you going?
No.
Well, if you're not going. I mean, I haven't signed up for it, but I was wondering if everybody was going, because then I thought,
I have a
well,
graduation party that I have to go to.
Dunedin Cares has invited us to
That's what it is.
are they doing something Saturday?
they are.
What are they doing?
It's their volunteer appreciation event
Oh, gotcha.
at the ballpark. We were all invited.
We were invited?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the
Oh,
Baycare,
Baycare.
Baycare ballpark.
Baycare Ballpark.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even in my calendar.
We can't send something, because I know I sent
Yeah,
that, but I have a-
Terry Scully sent something.
Terry.
Yeah, I should
That's right,
have, I
Terry.
should have added that. Yeah, Dunedin Cares is doing a volunteer appreciation night at Baycare Park. And she sent out an invite to all the commission and mayor, vice mayor. So
Someone else did previously to that too as well.
Did they? Okay. It's not in my calendar,
I'll
so I mean,
forward
but there's been a lot of, you don't need to. I won't be going, but please pass on my
So
regrets.
that's why I'm not going to the other.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, graduation thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I didn't know anything about it. But I mean, there's been a lot of transition recently, so I'm not surprised.
And the fact that nobody seems to be going, I guess it's safe to assume that we don't have any home rule heroes this year?
I haven't been notified of that.
Yeah, just been focused on personal stuff, so I haven't been nearly as involved as I
Because you
wanted.
got it 2 years in a row, right?
I did get it 2 years in a row, and so I feel really bad.
So this is mostly for honoring four of the representatives.
Yeah, that's what I saw in the invitation, and,
Yeah, I hate to miss it, but.
Yeah.
well, I just like when we go, I like when we
As
go
a
as a
team.
group, because it just makes such a good impression.
It does, it does. I
And
feel
then,
bad
well,
for
and then
not
if we're not
supporting
there as a group,
Tyler.
it'll make an impression too, won't it?
It will.
Yeah,
They'll honor somebody as a home rule
It'd be
hero.
really great if we were there next year as a group and we were all home rule heroes.
That's true.
That's a great goal. I like that goal. Yeah,
Okay.
we should have a strategy to that.
Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, we are out early. Thank you.